esteemed guests, and respected speakers. I am Rohit Intihab, Head of Media Affairs and Corporate Services at Greenwich University. A very warm welcome to each of you to this important conference on non-traditional security challenges in 21st century. It is an honor to have you all here today as we delve into a topic that is both timely and crucial in our modern world. My name is Maria Dahe and I'm the co-host for the day. I'm an industrial organization psychologist here at Greenwich University. Now I would request you all to please rise up for our national anthem. Now let's move further. I would like to invite Dr. Khurram Khan Alvi. He is the head of teachers education at Federal Urdu University. Also, he is associated with Greenwich University. Dr. Khurram Alvi, who will give us the brief overview of the conference theme and objectives. Dr. Khurram Alvi.
Assalamu alaikum and Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and participants, good morning and warm welcome to First International Conference of Non-Traditional Security Challenges in 21st Century. It is my honor to provide and welcome to all of my guests and brief of conference. First, I welcome to our all guests, Mr. Nakagawa Yukashi, Japanese Deputy Consul General. Sir, welcome to you this conference. Professor Dr. Sadeh Gul Akaba, Altum Faculty of Education, Baxton University, Turkey. Madam, welcome to you. Professor Dr. Kesar Bungali, renowned economics, sir, welcome to you. Professor Monis Ahmer, former Dean, Faculty of Arts, University of Karachi, sir, welcome to you. Justice retired Shahnawaz Tariq, Ombudsman and Harassment Against Women and Workplace Commitment Sindh, sir, welcome. Iqbal Burma, Sir Iqbal Burma, founder, member of President, Pakistan Japan Intellectual Forum, sir, welcome to you. And last, Professor Dr. Zabta Khan Shinwari, sir, Vice Chancellor, Federal Urdu University, and Miss Dr. Seema Mughal, Vice Chancellor, Greenwich University. We are both host and also welcome to Madam and sir to you. Now we brief, and now we start about a brief about conference. Basic topic. It's my first international conference of non-traditional security challenges in 21st century. Conference held on collaboration with Federal Urdu University, Arts, Science and Technology and Greenwich University, Karachi. As our world become more connected, this conference tackle major challenges that go beyond traditional security. Topic like climate change, cyber threat, health crisis and regional ties are crucial for creating a more sustainable futures. Over the course of the conference, we will hear from distinguished academic, policymaker and thoughtful leader who bring diverse of expertise and perspectives. Highlight of today's session include discussion of climate-induced migration, cyber warfare, the blue economy and involving dynamic of human security. These conversations are not merely academic. They aim to generate actionable insight and strategies. The conference also serves as a platform for fostering collaboration by bringing together scholars, practitioners and innovation. We hope to bridge gap between discipline and encourage meaningful partnership. The keynote speaks and interactive sessions reflect our collective commitments to addressing these pressing global issues. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge to contributions of our honorable guests, including Mr. Nakagawa Yusashi, the Japanese Deputy Consul General, and Professor Dr. Sadegul Akaba, returned from Baskan University, Turkey, as well as other renowned experts who insight will enrich our understanding of non-traditional security challenges. Furthermore, this conference emphasized the importance of regional cooperation and development. The discussion will highlight how initiatives like CPAC and advancement in sustainable practices can transform challenges into opportunities, fostering greater economic stability and connectivity. A special thanks to Greenwich University management, including Vice Chancellor Dr. Seema Mughal and Sir Saeed Mughal, and Vice Chancellor of FOSS Professor Dr. Zabta Khan Shinwari, for their unwavering support in making this conference is a reality. I would also like to express my gratitude to all organizing committees, Dr. Shahab, Mr. Zafar Ghari, Dr. Amreen Atiq, and Dr. Fatma Agha Shah for their dedication and hard work in bringing this event to life. In closing, let us approach these discussions with open mind and shared sense of purpose. Together we have potential to advance innovative solutions that address not only the challenges of today but also those of the future. Thank you to all the participants, organizers, and supporters who have made this event possible. Let us use this opportunity to inspire, collaborate, and make meaningful strides toward a more secure and sustainable world. Enjoy the conference, and I look forward to engage discussion ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khurram. Next, we are privileged to have Mr. Nakagawa, the Deputy Consul General of Japan. He will be addressing us on the global perspectives of non-traditional security challenges. Let's welcome him on the stage.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم معظم مہمانیں خواتین و حضرات السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. تو آج دعوت نامہ مل کر میں یہاں آ گیا ہوں. تو یہ آپ سب سے مل کر بڑی خوشی ہوئی. تو آپ کی عزت دکھانے کے لیے میں آپ کی مادری نہیں ہے قومی زبان اور دیسی زبان میں بات چیت کرنا چاہتا ہوں. تو میری اردو بہت خراب ہے. میری اردو خراب ہونے کی وجہ سے آپ شاید پریشان ہو رہے ہیں, لیکن 5 یا 10 منٹوں کے لیے تو صبر کر لیجیے پلیز. تو آج کانفرنس کا موضوع تو نان ٹریڈیشنل سیکورٹی چیلنجز ان 21st سینچری. تو میں نے زیادہ نہیں سنا یہ موضوع, لیکن اس ہونے کی وجہ سے غیر روایتی تو نان ٹریڈیشنل ہے نا. تو ہم ابھی بہت بڑی مشکلات اور غیر پیش گوئی صورتحال تو یہ سامنا کر رہے ہیں. تو کئی برسوں کی مثال دیکھ کر کے بہت زیادہ واقعات ہوئی. تو کورونا وبا پینڈیمک اور یوکرائن جنگ اور مشرقی وسطی صورتحال بہت خراب ہو چکی ہے. اور سائبر جرائم کی نمبر بہت بڑھ رہی ہے, اور موسمی تبدیلیات. تو اس کے بارے میں اسی چیلنج کے لیے کیا کہوں, جوابی اقدامات جو جاپانی حکومت کر رہی ہیں, کوشش کر رہے ہیں, اس کے بارے میں تھوڑا سا انٹروڈیوس کرنا چاہتا ہوں. میرے اپنے خیالات تھوڑا سا اضافہ کر کے. تو کورونا کے پینڈیمک کے وقت میں اسلام آباد میں جاپانی سفارت خانے میں کام کرتا تھا سربراہ شعبہ سیاست کی حیثیت سے. تو ہر روز ہر وقت پاکستانی سیاستدانوں کے ساتھ سرکاری ملازمتوں کے ساتھ صحافی کے ساتھ کھانا کھا کے چائے پی کر تو گپ شپ کرتے ہیں. لیکن کورونا وبا پینڈیمک شروع ہوتے ہی تو پاکستانی حکومت نے شدید نہیں ہے کیا کہوں اسمارٹ لاک ڈاؤن کے اقدامات نافذ کی. تو اسی وجہ سے یہ نافذ ہوتے ہی تو میں بالکل پاکستانیوں کے ساتھ گپ شپ بھی نہیں کر سکا, بات چیت بھی نہیں کر سکا, ہاتھ بھی نہیں مل سکا. اور کیا کہوں حق تو اردو میں کیا کہتے ہیں گلا نہیں لگ سکا. تو اس سے پہلے میں 24 گھنٹے 7 دنوں میں تو پاکستانیوں سے ہمیشہ تو السلام علیکم کر رہے ہیں اور یا آداب کر رہے ہیں اور گپ شپ کر رہے ہیں. لیکن اس کے بعد کچھ بھی نہیں کیا تو دنیا اس کے بعد بالکل چینج ہو گیا. تو جاپانی حکومت میں کورونا وبا یہ تو ہماری وزارت خارجہ کی ذمہ داری نہیں ہے, وزارت صحت کی ہے. لیکن ہم کوشش کر رہے ہیں اس کے بعد کورونا ویکسین سپلائی چین فراہمی نیٹ ورک اردو میں کیا کہوں جال نہیں ہے نا, جال تو ٹاپ ہے, نیٹ ورک فراہمی نیٹ ورک تو بنا کرنے کی کوشش کر رہے ہیں. اور سائبر جرائم تو جاپانی معاشرتی میں بھی سنگین اثرات مرتب ہوتے ہیں. تو آپ سب شاید سوچتے ہیں جاپان بہت محفوظ ملک ہے نا. تو میں بھی مانتا ہوں یہ بالکل صحیح, جی ہاں. لیکن اور اس کے ساتھ ساتھ کہوں گا جاپانی کیا کہوں جرائم کے شرف پرسنٹیج تو 30 سال پہلے سے 30 سال پہلے کا ابھی 1/4 تک تیزی کم ہو چکی ہے جاپانی پولیس کے منظم کارروائیوں کی ہونے کی وجہ سے. لیکن آج کل ہم جاپانی محسوس کر رہے ہیں جاپانی معاشرتی میں بھی دن بدن تھوڑا سا خطرناک اور خراب ہو رہی ہے. وجہ کیا ہے کیوں؟ تو وجہ یہی ہے تو ابھی جاپان میں بھی ایسی جرائم بہت بڑھ رہی ہے جو پرانے کارروائی پر نمٹنے نہیں کر سکتے. تو مثال طور پر آج کل بیرونی ملکوں میں مقیم جاپانی کرائم آرگنائزیشن جرائم تنظیم تو بیرونی ملکوں سے کچھ بھی ثبوت چور نہیں کر کچھ بھی ثبوت چور کر کے ہدایت کر رہے ہیں. تو جب ہی مجرم تو پکڑ گئے گرفتار کیے گئے تو لیکن یہ مجرموں ایک دوسرے کچھ بھی نہیں معلومات ہیں. تو ایسی کرائم تو ہونے کی وجہ سے ہماری جاپانی حکومت نے 2 سال پہلے ایک لائحہ عمل یا حکمت عملی تو لے لی. تو اس کے میدان میں بھی جاپانی حکومت کوشش کر رہے ہیں بالکل بیرونی ملکوں کے ساتھ، بین الاقوامی برادروں کے ساتھ. اور تبدیلی موسمیات یہ تو پورے دنیا میں بہت سنگین مسئلہ ہے، اور جو ایک لمحہ کی روانت برداشت نہیں کی جائے گی. تو بنیادی طور پر موسمی تبدیلیات کے جوابی اقدامات تو یہ تحقیق اور موافقت. تو تحقیق تو صنعت کاروں، شعبہ صنعت کاروں کے لیے گرین ہاؤس گیس کم کرنے کی کوشش یا توانائی کی بچت کی کوشش اور قابل تجدید توانائی کی کوشش، تو ایسی کاربن گیس کم کرنے کی کوشش، اور اس کے ساتھ ساتھ موافقت تو تبدیلی موسمیات کے اثرات کو روکنے کے لیے جوابی اقدامات ہیں. لیکن ہم بالکل سمجھتے ہیں تو یہ بہت عالمی مسئلہ ہے جو سب ممالکوں کے ساتھ ساتھ یہ کوشش کرنا ہے. لیکن ترقی پذیر ملکوں کے لیے یہ تو بہت مشکل ہے، کیونکہ اپنے اقتصادی ترقی کے لیے بھی کام کرنا ہے، کوشش کرنا ہے. اس کے ساتھ ساتھ تو یہ تبدیلی موسمیات کی جوابی اقدامات کرنے تو بہت مشکل ہے. لیکن جاپانی حکومت بین الاقوامی تعلقات، بین الاقوامی برادری کے ساتھ یہ ترقی پذیر ملکوں کو سپورٹ کرنے کی کوشش کر رہے ہیں. مثال طور پر پاکستان میں بھی پیمانے بہت زیادہ نہیں ہے، اتنا زیادہ نہیں ہے جتنا دوسرے ملکوں کی طرف سے ملتا. لیکن پاکستان میں شعبہ صنعت کار میں انتظامی مہارات کے منصوبے کرنے کی کوشش کر رہے ہیں. ہم نے لاگو کیا. تو کراچی میں بنا ہوا موسمی ریڈر، یہ بھی تو جاپان کی امدادی میں تو بنی ہوئی ہے، کیونکہ جاپان پاکستان جیسا ملک ہے، پاکستان جیسا ملک ہے جیسا قدرتی آفات کا شکار ملک ہے. تو میں دوبارہ کہوں گا ہم ابھی بہت پیچیدہ اور ناپیش گوئی دنیا میں زندہ رہے ہیں. تو گلوبلائزیشن کا لفظ تو معلومات ملی تو یہ اس سے تقریباً 30 سال سے زیادہ گزر رہے ہیں. تو گلوبلائزیشن میں پازیٹیو پہلو بھی بہت زیادہ ہے. تو مثال طور پر کثیر الجہاتی فریم ورک بنانے. لیکن گلوبلائزیشن میں بھی تو پینڈیمک، ریفیوجی، تو سائبر کرائمز یا موسمی تبدیلیات جیسا یہ مصنوعی سرحد پر کر اثرات کر کے یہ منفی والی بھی شامل ہیں. تو بین الاقوامی تعلقات یہ اسی دھمکی اور خطرہ کے ساتھ نمٹنے کر کے بالکل ہم اکٹھے کر کے کوشش کرنا پڑے گا ہمیں. تو ہماری جاپانی وزارت خارجہ میں بھی پچھلے 20 یا 25 سالوں میں زیادہ شعبہ بنا ہوا. تو یہ ایسی نان ٹریڈیشنل مسئلہ چیلنجز کے جوابی اقدامات کوشش کرنے کے لیے. تو ایسی چیلنج میں کوشش کرنے تو ہم जापान एक मुल्क वाहिद में तो बिल्कुल नामुमकिन है। तो हमारी जापानी हुकूमत पाकिस्तान या बैन अवी बिरादरी सब ममालिकों के साथ साथ बिल्कुल कोशिश करूँगा। तो यही है। तो बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। थैंक यू सो मच। तो पाक जापान दोस्ती पाइंड अबाउट। थैंक यू सो मच।
बहुत शुक्रिया मिस्टर यासूशी, और हम मशकूर हैं जो उर्दू ज़बान से क़ुरबत का इजहार आपने किया है इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में। ये तारीख़ में रकम होगा और हमें इसकी अहमियत को उजागर करने की हर जगह बहुत ज़रूरत है। उर्दू की बात करते हैं और हम चैलेंजेस की बात कर रहे हैं, हम नॉन सिक्योरिटी ट्रेडिशनल चैलेंजेस की बात कर रहे हैं, जिसमें मिस्टर यासूशी ने बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स को डिस्कस किया रिगार्डिंग क्लाइमेट चेंज और ग्लोबलाइजेशन, अर्बन फ्लडिंग की भी बात की, जियोपॉलिटिकल सिचुएशन की बात की। लेकिन जो एजुकेशन है उसमें जो चैलेंजेस ख़ास तौर पे पब्लिक यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को फेस करने पड़ते हैं और जो जिम्मेदारी भारी उनको अदा करनी पड़ती है, तो उसमें जो लीडर्स होते हैं, चांसलर्स हो गए, पूरी कमांड, उनकी टीम, उनकी सारी फैकल्टी जिन हालात में पाकिस्तान में काम कर रही है, ख़ास तौर पे विफाकी उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी ने जिन चैलेंजेस का सामना गुज़िश्ता 2-3 माह में किया है, और हालिया जो अभी आपकी कॉन्वोकेशन हुई है, हम आपको ग्रीनिच के प्लेटफॉर्म से बहुत बहुत मुबारकबाद भी देते हैं। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, वाइस चांसलर हैं फेडरल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी के डॉक्टर ज़ाब्ता खान शेरवानी को, कि वो स्टेज पे आइए और आकर अपने जो ख्यालात हैं उसका इजहार कीजिए। डॉक्टर ज़ाब्ता खान शेरवानी, द वाइस चांसलर ऑफ फेडरल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी।
Thank you, madam. And in fact, I want to, shall I know, 日本語で話してもいいんですか？あなたはちょっとやっぱりトランスレーションしたら、ウルドとか、あるいは英語でいいじゃないですかね。それは日本語で話しましょうか。いや、そうじゃないですかね。मैं बदला ले लेता हूँ, मैं जापानी में तकरीर कर लेता हूँ। तो फिर यासुशी सान 20 साल बाद मुझे मिला, and he said when I met in Her Excellency's room, he said, "Oh, you are Shinwari." I said, "Oh, come on, I am." But we are very good friends. Thank you very much. An excellent presentation, Yasushi-san. 本当にありがとうございました。Then coming back, thanks, madam. A lot of good friends. I'm sorry I intruded because this is very close to my heart, Greenwich University, because of its collaboration with our university. Now we are like a sister university, so that's why I came here, and I have another meeting here in this next room with Russian Kanza. We have some collaboration and people will be going. Just to say a few things about, first of all, appreciating this topic is again your wisdom to choose this topic. A lot of things are happening. When you talk about the impact of artificial intelligence, it's a double-edged sword. You can use it for good, you can use it for bad. I was working as a co-chair with UNESCO Commission for Ethics in Science and Technology, and we are really worried in a way. The advancement in science, on one side what we call a dual use of education. On one side you can use it for good, on the other side you can use it for bad. And that's like privacy, like cyber things that are happening, like so many health security, for example. Your data can be misused. It can help you out. Which vaccine, personalized vaccine now is good for you, not good for me. Science has gone so far that you can get a lot of good out of science. And at the same time, for example, if you can engineer a virus that can kill the whole humanity, the whole life on Earth, because you know which portion of DNA, if you insert in one virus and just spread it out to kill your enemies in your sense, but that will not end there, that will come back to you also. Because that virus doesn't need a passport. You know, there was once, because I was working with UNESCO and WHO, so there was a rumor that the dengue virus in Lahore, one newspaper wrote an article saying that it was, engineered in our neighbor country. I said, it's totally wrong, because if it comes here, it will not need a visa to go back to Amritsar. So Please, when you say something, be responsible. Be, a scientist should always be, doing good for the humanity. So, when you talk about all this, you can use this science for economics, for food security. Like country like Pakistan, very rightly mentioned by my friend, old friend, that this country, you should feel proud of it. And why? This is the only country in the world that stretches from 0 meter, Karachi, to 8,611 meter. No other country in the world. There is an average little bit above your K2, but that's it. They have some mountains in Nepal. They wish that they could have beautiful places like you have in Sindh, in Punjab, in Balochistan, in KP. Their wishes. Like Karachi coast you have. So the world is wishing to have such a place that you have. Almighty has given it to you. It's now you and me that whether we are taking care of that or not, whether we are keeping that in a way to attract people to come and live with us and enjoy this. This is the nature. This has given to you by the nature, and it's the property of the whole world. It's not yours only. So let's share with the world. Let's do, this message across the world that we have a beautiful country. Come and we will serve you. We will be your host. So that is how. And now this flag will be taken by both Federal Urdu University and Greenwich University. We will be working together. Our doors are, when my colleagues came to me, I said, everything are offered to them, whatever we have. And we will be doing that. Now, finally, a little bit more, like Pakistan is faced with a lot of challenges, and one of the challenges, this human trafficking also. And when you talk about the non-traditional security, you can use these modern technologies that the human dignity is not compromised. Those people that they die, including women and children, we should all be feeling ashamed of what is happening. And we should all be working on that our human dignity is not compromised at any cost, and that their life is safeguarded and not exploited anywhere in the world of any country. And I believe in colorblind commitment. I always say to my colleagues that we will not prefer or otherwise neglect based on gender, caste, color, religion, whatever. We are educationists and we are a peace-loving people, and our message is to everybody to let's love each other, and please don't discriminate anybody on anything, whether it's of your face, your shape, your gender, your language, whatever. We are all same human being, and sometimes when I speak abroad, I usually go as an academician to UN, talk to the ambassador about, when I talk about biosecurity, biosafety, those issues that are now humans are faced with. So I usually speak, probably we have the same DNA, we are same Homo sapiens. I use the probably when, people are killed indiscriminately just because of they are having different religion, just because they practice something else. Come on, man. Or just for a piece of land, or just for a few $1 million. And we call ourselves as the most evolved species. I have talked about that. And this is not done by the illiterate people. It is done by the most padalika people, you call it. Graduates of Harvard and Oxford and whatever. They are doing all this. I am sometimes shocked, because if I do something wrong even if I shout at my colleague, I can't sleep well. Oh, what I did, I shouldn't be doing that. Why I hurt someone? So, ladies and gentlemen, I will not take most of your time, but the role of academia, ourselves, it's our responsibility. If things are happening in the world, we are responsible as an academician. Probably we only distributed a piece of paper as your degrees. We did do enough. That was our job, that we should be champion of character building. We should be the champion of producing change managers in the society. That is our job. And that is what we should be doing. If we are not doing that, I think we are not doing our job. So these challenges are immense. As my young fellow said, my university, we are faced with challenges, but that there are opportunities too. A lot of opportunities available. Modern things, modern science, and that is what you have to take benefit of this. Heartfelt gratitude to you, ma'am, and to all the organizers, my colleagues, everybody. I don't want to name each one of you, but Mughal, whether it's Madam Mughal or Son Mughal, they are doing a great job. And I repeat myself that we are always at your disposal whenever you say all the, we have some 5,000 students, alhamdulillah, now, and a couple of thousand employees, all are at your disposal. I will be the last man Sepai to be leading, helping, assisting, whatever is possible. I am sorry that I intruded because I have some more meetings to go. Thank you very much once again. It's a proud privilege that I was here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Now we are pleased to hear from Dr. Said Gul Akbaba Altun, a respected academic from Basket University in Turkey. She will share her insights on the evolving role of education in addressing security challenges. Dr. Altun, please join us on the stage.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to thank the President and Dr. Alvi for inviting me for this conference. I'll be honored to be here. Thank you. Nowhere is safe in the world because we, as a human being, face natural disaster or man-made created disaster. So what we can do is, I think this conference is going to find the solution today. So I wish a successful conference. I am in the field of education, administration. So I work with school principals and the schools in Turkey, in Ankara. I am working at Başkent University. It is funded university and it is in Ankara. I conducted research on, we just came out from COVID-19 pandemic, and 2 years ago, a serious, earthquake hit southern part of Turkey, and we lost more than 55,000 people over there. And I also conducted research over there. I'm going to share the result with you. Can I use that? Okay. So I'm going to talk about with you, the pandemic and the reality of the digital competencies, because pandemic taught us that we have to be competent in digital world. So we changed with that, with the crisis. I'm going to talk about the opportunities created by the pandemic crisis and what we learn from those crisis, how we overcome, and what kind of lesson we have to get from that crisis. I also conducted research after the earthquake with the school principal, so what we can do afterwards. I'll take you to back those days, the pandemic days. We were at home and in front of the computer, so we used different kind of, online education platforms. We use those platforms for the teaching, for the learning. At that time, I was dean. We meet with our colleagues and with our students with those online platforms. And we also do our ceremonies, graduation ceremonies, unfortunately, online. So we use those platforms also, for the communication purposes. And we gained digital competencies, and we immediately changed our strategic goals that, we have to teach our teacher candidates also and improve those, competencies. So what kind of opportunities we get after those pandemic crisis? Actually, school principals talk about the, personal opportunities, administrative opportunities, and educational opportunities. For the personal opportunities, since we are at home and we couldn't go anywhere, we also had the chance for personal and professional development opportunities. Personally, I got many courses from edX, Coursera, and I attended many meetings to learn, all those kind of digital things. So it's also a kind of awareness of hygiene. So if you prevent those kind of illness, hygiene is very important. School principals also talk about the hygiene. You know, since they are at home, they of course spend time with their families and they get some rest. I'm going to talk about, administrative and educational opportunities more. For the, administrative opportunities, those are the school-related opportunities. Hygiene and cleaning opportunity, it is very important. We pay more attention to hygiene and cleaning. And another is, very important opportunity to interpret the school and the schooling and this for the future of the education. We never will be the same because we learn distance education, online education, using the benefit of it. So we rethink about the school. Another opportunity related to, the management process. We learn flexible working hours. I don't know it is advantages or disadvantages because we are online almost 24 hours. We had to attend even during the evening. So we start to, not to 9 to 5, but maybe longer hours, but with the different mindset. We also learn, the school principals talk about they discover the potential of the staff. Those crisis days is also created new leaders. We understand different potential of our personnel. Another opportunity is they will also learn how to manage the crisis. Since we are in the crisis, we are managing the crisis, so we also learn how to manage the crisis. Another opportunity is the maybe best one is we learn the, digital competencies. So we also have they talk about also educational opportunities. One is we learn distance education, online education. Now we are using blended one. So we use in all of our life, actually, we use those skills. Another opportunity is using think about the future of education, what we are going to do in the future, they talk about. Another thing, when we invite parents to come to our schools, they never come. Those days, kids were at home, so they have to take care of the kids. So they participated in education, or parental participation increased well. Another is students should regulate their own learning. So self-directed learning is also increased and awareness is increased. Another opportunity is digitalization in education, transformation of the digitalization. Turkish education system is centralized. It starts from the Ministry of Education and it's all come to the school level. So what this pandemic taught us, the first one is again personal learning. This personal learning, I think for us, very important as a scientist. Principal talk about taking science as a guide. So we should change our behavior and attitude because science is important and changing our life. So they talk about taking science as a guide. Resilience. Futurists talk about that we are going to face many viruses that are known, and they didn't talk about the good things. So we, as a human being, we have to resilient those kind of crises. I think I'm from Turkey, and we have, of course, unfortunately, many crises, economic crisis, social crisis, and natural disasters, unfortunately. So we have to be resilient, otherwise we need to die, So giving importance to and maintaining hygiene, of course, we learn about the COVID-19 disease. So, and we should talk about determining what our priorities are, because we lost our loved ones at that time. So we have to think about what's the important for us, for the human being, So we also they learn something about the crisis management and educational learnings. Of course, our school principals face many problems, like many in the area, individual problems. They were sometimes at home alone. They have psychological problem, social problem, health problem. We asked them to come to school, but there wasn't any transportation in the street. They didn't have car, so they have problem. They have, of course, administrative problem and educational problem they face. Okay, I ask what should be the overcome this crisis, what to do. They talk about what to do before the crisis and what to do during the crisis. Before the crisis, of course, they told us, we should know the crisis management and having foresight about the crisis, because we face many crises, a kind of crisis of countries. We prayed for unexpected events. We should have data, and we read those data, try to understand. Prepare a crisis plan. Building a school fit for crisis. Some schools are not really in good condition, so school itself creates the crisis. Another one is they talk about to appoint or become a qualified school principal. If you have well-qualified school principal, you have the qualification to overcome all those kind of, the problem. So they talk about this kind of theme. And they also talk about what to do during the crisis. They talk about preparing and implementing a crisis intervention program, being supportive, especially they have problem psychologically, help them psychologically, to inform school stakeholders, your superiors, your parents, your teachers, your students, have advice about the disease or the situation and be advisor, and motivate people, manage the emotions, of course, manage the process, because you are responsible for the school. I also interviewed the school principals at that region. I asked the same question, what we have to do about managing the crisis. They also talk about crisis preparation, crisis intervention, and post-crisis support. And of course, for the earthquake, they talk about before the crisis, the drills and plan is important. Of course, adequacy of training is important. We do once and just forget about it. That's dangerous thing. We should have, continue, improve it. During the crisis, they talk about the composition and organization, and first aid and evacuation is important for the earthquake. And for the post-crisis, they talk about psychological support and meeting basic needs. So I combined these two data, and I tried to take out the theme about the natural disaster and crisis management. We should do something, basic things before the crisis, during the crisis, and after the crisis. Before the crisis, of course, preparation and planning is important. Education and awareness, not the school level, whole community level. During the crisis, for the school principal, of course, leadership and decision-making is important. Organization and coordination, and of course, physical safety and first aid is very important. For the after the crisis, psychological support and evolution and improvement is because we have to learn from the crisis. For the next crisis, then we should be prepared. Okay, what we can say as a conclusion. So preparation before the crisis, comprehensive planning is important. Drills and training conducted by the institutions to ensure both physical and psychological preparedness before a crisis are important. During the crisis, being for the leadership side, it is the ability of leaders to remain calm, make quick decisions, and demonstrate effective communication and coordination skills. It is important. For the post-crisis recovery, psychological support and recovery efforts are the important part of it. Although crises are different and each crisis needs different kind of preparation, but there is also some common point that you have to learn beforehand. Also, it has been determined that the crisis provides learning opportunities in areas such as digital learning, digital transformation, and digital competencies. The crisis also teach us, how to manage the crisis. So education institutions should be the last to close and the first to reopen, because we had to close the four year or more than a year. And of course, our perspective on education, including school architecture, needs to change, and we should reflect on this. Finally, as a remark, and there is a huge literature on crisis management and safety. We should benefit from those scientific, the research results and apply them. Of course, as a scientist, to conduct more research on those our social issue and other issues, and be open new developments and changes. Thank you very much for your attention and patience.
Thank you, Miss. लेट्स मूव फर्दर. एक ऐसी पर्सनालिटी हमारे दरमियान बैठे हैं जिन्होंने पाकिस्तान की इकॉनमी के लिए एडवाइज़रीज़ बनाई हैं, और सिर्फ एडवाइज़री नहीं बनाई बल्कि दुनिया भर में इकॉनमी के हवाले से ख़ास तौर पे माइक्रो एंड मैक्रो इकॉनमी की जो इंडिकेटर्स होते हैं उनको जज करना और 5-5, 10-10 साल के लिए प्लानिंग करना. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान के साथ क्लोजली पिछले साल 2024 की कमेटीज़ में भी काम करना और सख्त चैलेंजेस के साथ तमाम तरह मामलात को देखना. हम बात कर रहे हैं प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर केसर बंगाली की. एक रिनोन इकोनॉमिस्ट हैं और सर की बहुत ज़्यादा पाकिस्तान के लिए ख़िदमात हैं. मैं जब इनका प्रोफाइल पढ़ रहा था तो समझ नहीं आ रहा था कि सर क्या क्या बातें बताऊं ऑडियंस को और क्या क्या नहीं बताऊं, बिकॉज इतनी ज़्यादा अचीवमेंट्स हैं. मोर देन 50 पब्लिकेशन नेशनल और इंटरनेशनल हैं, और उसके अलावा भी सर ने मुख्तलिफ़ कॉर्पोरेट्स में काम किया और उनके एडवाइज़री बोर्ड्स में भी रहे हैं. ख़ास तौर पे एकेडमिया, यूनिवर्सिटीज़, एजुकेशन के लिए बहुत क्लोजली उन्होंने बैठकर जो मैनेजमेंट साइंसेस के हवाले से चीज़ें हैं वो भी रखी हैं. तो मैं चाहूँगा कि सर के लिए भरपूर तालियां बजाइए और उनको वेलकम करें कि वो आएँ और इकॉनमी के हवाले से जो आज का कॉन्फ्रेंस का हमारा टॉपिक है उस पर इज़हार ख्याल करें. प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर केसर बंगाली.
Dr. Seema Mughal, Dr. Shinwari, I know he has left, but I want to thank Greenwich University and Federal Urdu University for inviting me here for this conference on a very important topic, and it's very relevant in today's crises that we are facing. It's very interesting to listen to your presentation on COVID. The best thing I liked about COVID was that you could attend a corporate meeting wearing a white starched shirt with a tie and pajamas. I will just make a few comments on traditional versus non-traditional security. Security generally is taken to mean you have an army, air force, navy to protect your borders, fight with the enemy if they try to hurt you, protect our external interests, and internally it is about maintaining internal security. You have the police and other institutions to protect yourself. But we have seen in Pakistan that both these in isolation have failed to deliver. We have failed to protect our borders. We once lost half our country. We have failed to maintain internal security, and for the last, I think, 30 years, we are in turmoil. In Karachi, we have seen almost a decade and a half of extreme violence in the city. We are seeing violence in Balochistan and Fata. I think it's time these events make us reflect as to is the concept of traditional security sufficient. I'm not on any new territory. I think a lot of work has been done on non-traditional security. But it is becoming very apparent to everyone, whether one is it's your subject or not your subject, you are an expert or not an expert. It's become very clear that merely having an army will not protect this country, and merely having internal security forces will not provide us security. We cannot put policemen on every corner. You cannot put your armed forces on every inch of the territory on the borders. The concepts have changed. The two things I want to talk about. The first is the internal security matters. Economic security will probably give us more security than a whole army of policemen and FC and rangers, whatever you call them. If Karachi is suffering from an epidemic of mobile phone and snatchers and vehicle snatchers and dacoities at home. I used to live in Islamabad. I came here. I was staying with a friend, and 4 people barged into our house with guns, and it was 3 days before Eid, and they collected all the clothes of especially the women's clothes, and on departing they said that हमारा भी हक है अच्छे कपड़े पहनने का. We also have a right to wear nice clothes. And they were asking for dollars. This was a big house, 2,000 square yard house on Shara Faisal. And the friend I was staying is a professor. He's passed away since then, but all he had in his house was books. And he kept saying that, you have such a large house, where are dollars? We don't even have one room, So you can tell from that experience, and there are several similar experiences I've had, that inequality is a problem. And when you have this kind of inequality, some people think it is their right to cross the boundaries of law, inflict violence. And violence is inflicted in 2 ways. Either you inflict violence on others, you become a criminal, what we call them a criminal, or you can inflict violence in yourself. And we have many cases of women killing themselves and their children because they can't feed them. It's again not uncommon to hear of these. So in the 1960s, Karachi to Hyderabad was a 160-mile trip via Thatta. Then the government built a straight line highway, which we call the super highway, reduced the distance from 160 miles to 100 miles. But the new highway, anyone who tried to drive through that was robbed by, local people. So the commissioner of Karachi was a very far-sighted person. He had a meeting with all the small chieftains, small tribal chiefs, clan chiefs, waderas along the super highway. And he said that, look here, there are a lot of cars will be passing by and there is a lot of business opportunity. If some of you can open petrol pumps, gas stations, some of you can open restaurants, which they did. And the crime just disappeared. And if ever something occurred, it is these very local chieftains who would catch that guy and beat him up. He said, you are disturbing our business. So now when you drive on superhighway, there is no need for any policeman. So you can provide security through economic opportunities. I think that lesson holds still for CPEC. CPEC has virtually come to a standstill, especially in Balochistan, because nothing can happen in Balochistan. Security is so. So, but the superhighway model, when you involve people, the reason Balochistan is a security risk because the people of Balochistan think they are left out of everything that is happening, left out of all the opportunities. They have no stake in CPEC or in Gwadar or anything that is happening. Give people stake, and you don't need people in uniform with guns to protect you. This is some basic principle of non-traditional security and economics. In wars between countries, this is now becoming apparent. The war that took place between Azerbaijan and Armenia, not too long ago, a couple of years ago, I think, Armenia had a fairly good army, but they were defeated in almost 24 hours. They had $1 million tanks, and they were destroyed by $2,000 drones. So the nature of warfare has changed, completely changed. Ukraine has also shown us that war is not what it used to be. We have seen this very famous Turkish drama Ertugrul, where actually half of Ertugrul was battles between people. And what it said was that in order to fight battles, you needed strong arms to be able to wield those heavy swords. Then, of course, the nature of battles changed. You didn't need strong arms, you need strong armor. You need fighter jets and you need tanks. And, But in the last decade or half a decade, we have seen this is also of no use. Armor is of no use. If $2,000 drones can knock out $1 million tanks, then what is the use of that armor? In Ukraine, the Ukrainian army was supplied with very sophisticated missiles, and they found that they never strike their targets. They are shot and then they fall somewhere else, and they couldn't realize what was happening. Basically, the Russians were jamming those missiles, and they were not hitting their targets. So what lesson do we learn? War today is run through electronics, not armor, not tanks, we don't need an armored corps, we don't need an infantry anymore. We need electronics and scientific knowledge. So defense expenditure must be spent on this, and at least half of defense expenditure must be directed towards universities, because it is in universities where the research and the development of electronics and electronic warfare will take place. That's what we need to do. And for Pakistan's economy, the imperative of doing that is that our whole government expenditure structure, defense, civil administration included, is failing to deliver anything. It is failing to deliver food for the people. It is failing to deliver jobs. It is failing to deliver internal security. So I think there is a need for a major rethink and of what our objectives are, defining security in completely different terms, in non-traditional terms. China and USA are in competition. And China, it is very clear it is beating the US. In the last, I think, 48 hours, we've learned how Chinese development in IT has thrown the US corporate sector and their Silicon Valley in turmoil. They didn't need an army to do that, but they're doing it. So I think Pakistan also has to think that this whole concept of a defense establishment, trying to counter and stand up to our enemies in India or in Afghanistan or anywhere else, it will become a paper tiger, because it will no longer serve. Like the Armenian army became a paper tiger. They were just destroyed in 24 hours. We need to reorient our whole government resources, the state's resources, build our universities, help universities set up laboratories in developing science, technology, electronics, space technology, because a lot of the future battles will be fought from space. And Pakistan has not even a foothold in space.
Thank you, Dr. Kesar. Our next speaker is Professor Monis Ahmer, who is the former Dean of Faculty of Arts at University of Karachi. He'll be speaking on social and cultural factors influencing security in 21st century. Please welcome Professor Dr. Monis Ahmer on stage.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be here for the first time at Greenwich University. I heard about this university, but never had the opportunity. It sounds to be quite developed and quite modern. And also thanks to the Department of International Relations, Federal Urdu University of Science and Technology, for holding or organizing the conference on non-traditional security, which is very timely, which has its significance, its importance, you name it. I have around 10 minutes, but since we started late, instead of 10:30, so it basically means that I will have some space. What I will do is, in 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, not more than that, minutes. Non-traditional security, challenges in 21st century. I would like to deal with the hardcore of security. The most misunderstood term is security. What does it mean? And I would like to quote here a British professor emeritus from London School of Economics and Political Science, Barry Buzan, a big name. How Barry Buzan, he talked about security. He talked about different forms and types of security, and he says that security is all about the capability of a state to maintain its independence, ideology, and functional integrity. In this regard, security can be redefined in many ways, like number 1, political security, number 2, economic security, number 3, societal security, number 4, environmental security, number 5, cyber security, 6, human security, and then the last is military security. All of these security dimensions, according to Barry Buzan, combine to come up with comprehensive sense of security. In 2001, January, the same month, I had the opportunity to participate in a conference in Delhi, in New Delhi, which was organized by the Delhi Policy Group on comprehensive security. That how comprehensive security works if it is applied truly. Redefinition of security, revitalization of security, transformation of security from traditional to non-traditional. Traditional security basically revolves around 3 components: power, military, security, military, and armaments. Non-traditional security, the scope in the last 40 years has widened to a great extent. If someone reads a book which was written by Ehsan Mahmood Khan on human security, will understand how human security, which basically means protecting survival of human beings by ensuring quality of life of people, access to the clean and safe drinking water, better health and educational facilities, affordable housing, and public transport. Where do we stand? A country of 250 million people. Is the state able to perform its duties to provide minimum level of security? No. The answer is no. Then certainly dealing with the challenges of climate change. Everyone talks about climate change. Everyone talks about global warming. Everyone talks about how this non-traditional security is threatening the world today, emanating from the melting of glaciers, drought, excessive floods, and famine. It is a single man-made disaster, which must be seriously, I'm not talking about the Paris Accord, seriously it should be dealt by those who matter. Controlling demographic explosion. In the year 1900, the population of world was hardly 2 billion. It has now reached 8 billion. It's a major security threat. Shift from geopolitics to geoeconomics, focusing on economic progress and development. Now, the American President Donald Trump, who took oath almost 10 days ago, he has signed 350 executive orders. The United States is a country which is a leading economy, number one. But we have undermined the fact that its GDP is $27 trillion, but its debt is $37 trillion. As was said by the former American President Barack Obama 10 years ago, a nation should live within its means. The US has spent trillions of dollars ranging from wars in Korea to Vietnam to Iraq, Afghanistan, elsewhere, you name it. Several $trillion gone. Now, there are various forms when you talk about non-traditional security. Perhaps Dr. Khasar Bengali knows about it. That Regional Center for Strategic Studies in Colombo used to have a program of winter workshop and summer workshop on traditional and non-traditional security. So they used to invite experts to enlighten people and the participants, the workshop participants in Colombo, in Sri Lanka, and elsewhere, to talk about traditional security, the hardcore, the military security, the nuclear thing, and so forth, and non-traditional security. There are various forms of non-traditional security. The young generation, I mean, those who are innovative, who are energetic, who have a lot of energy, but of course they are facing challenges. Their future is at stake. Their future is at stake because of various forms of non-traditional security. Food security, this is number one. Look, what is going on in Gaza, or what has happened in Gaza in the last 15 months. How the Palestinians, 2.4 million Palestinians, unable to survive, unable to get proper food and nutrition. So this is number one, food security. Second is energy security. That to what extent countries or states can provide renewable energy, clean energy, getting rid of fossil fuel. So energy security, and one conspiracy theory about Gaza is that why Donald Trump recently called upon Jordan and Egypt, please do something and resettle those living in Gaza to your countries. Israel endorsed that, what Trump said. The reason is basically that in Gaza they have found billions of dollars of gas reserves. And that is the vested interest of Israel. Water security. This winter in Pakistan is amazing. That you don't have adequate snow or rain, or even in Karachi, you know, it's all dry. So water security, gender security, that 50% of world's population, how that population feels insecure, health security, that millions and millions of people are deprived of basic health facilities, and talked about pandemic and things like that. educational security, to provide good quality education to all the school going students, children. And in Pakistan, the irony is that out of a country of 250 million people, 25 million children are out of school. This is terrible. This is something which cannot be overlooked, undermined, or forgiven. So, how human security has been redefined in the last 70 years, or security has been redefined in the last 70 years. But I would like to, I will not take much of your time, I would like to emphasize on the fact that traditional security is still, has still its relevance and importance. Had it not been the case, the world wouldn't have been spending $2.3 trillion on armaments, on defense. And we also need to know that out of $2.5 trillion spending which the world spends, it is the CIPRI yearbook, that is the International Peace Research Institute, and yes, I got it. Thank you very much. We have not much time. Well, I understand. Time is money. Time is money. I am very mindful about these things. So, out of $2.5 trillion, the United States is spending $900 billion every year on defense. So, traditional security is there. Aggression, wars, and according to a renowned strategist, Otto von Clausewitz, a Prussian strategist, he said that war is a continuation of politics by other means. So, we have to be mindful that if non-traditional security has broadened its scope, non-traditional security, everyone talks about non-traditional security. Traditional security has its own meaning, its own relevance. Finally, the need is to create a better understanding about both traditional and non-traditional security, provided those who wield power are mindful of enormous threats which the world is facing, ranging from environmental catastrophe to the failure of state actors to deal with issues which deepens a sense of insecurity. And here, as far as South Asia is concerned, the region in which we live, which has 20% of the world population, South Asia is facing enormous challenges. But the problem is basically that SAARC, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, the only regional organization representing South Asia, is in limbo. SAARC is in limbo since last almost 8 years. So when there is no such initiative, when there is no such activity, plausible activity as far as providing human security, national security, comprehensive security, non-traditional security, how can we expect any headway? But one country which is basically the core of South Asia, the core of South Asia is Pakistan and India. So India, how India has been able to move on, we must understand as far as things which are going on as far as the only eastern neighbor is concerned. So let's not be very judgmental about security, about traditional security, non-traditional security. We have to educate people. And people know about, उनको पता है कि सलामती क्या होती है, उनको पता है कि तहफ़्फ़ुज़ क्या होता है. मगर बात ये है that unless the state fulfills its responsibilities along with the society, both the state and society, they have to play a role in order to empower people as far as human security is concerned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Monis Emher. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Iqbal Verma, who is the founder and president of Pakistan-Japan Intellectual Forum. He will share his perspectives on international cooperation in non-traditional security challenges. Please welcome him on the stage.
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. معزز اسکالرس، ایکسلنسیز اور خواتین و حضرات، السلام علیکم. یہ بات میرے لیے باعث افتخار ہے کہ آج 21ویں صدی کے روایتی سلامتی چیلنجز کے موضوع پر منعقدہ اس بین الاقوامی کانفرنس کا حصہ بن رہا ہوں. ہم ایک ایسے دور میں رہ رہے ہیں جہاں سلامتی کے مسائل اور خطرات مزید پیچیدہ ہو چکے ہیں، اور روایتی سلامتی چیلنجز جیسے کہ سرحدی تنازعات، عسکری تصادم اور وسائل کی دوڑ آج بھی عالمی امن اور استحکام کے لیے ایک بڑا مسئلہ ہیں. میں چونکہ جاپانولوجی کا طالب علم ہوں، اس لیے میں اپنے موضوع کو جاپان کے تناظر میں بیان کرنے کی کوشش کروں گا. جاپان کا تاریخی اور جغرافیائی پس منظر بہت منفرد ہے، اور ایز کیس اسٹڈی ہمیں اسے ضرور اسٹڈی کرنا چاہیے، مطالعہ کرنا چاہیے اس کا. جاپان بیک وقت روایتی اور سلامتی چیلنجز کے کئی پہلوؤں کا سامنا کر رہا ہے. مشرقی چین کے سمندر میں موجود تنازعات ہوں، یا شمالی کوریا کے میزائل تجربات، یا ساؤتھ چائنا سی میں کشیدگی، جاپان کی سلامتی کے ہمیشہ اہم مسائل لاحق رہے ہیں. یہی وجہ ہے کہ جاپان نے ان چیلنجز کا سامنا کرنے کے لیے مختلف نوعیت کے تصویراتی اقدامات کیے ہیں. لیکن یہ صورتحال اگر صرف سرحدی اور دفاعی امور تک محدود ہوتی تو شاید جاپان اپنی جدید ٹیکنالوجی اور معیشت کے ذریعے ان پر قابو پا لیتا، اور بہتر طور پر قابو پا لیتا. لیکن جاپان کو عمر رسیدہ آبادی کی صورت میں ایک بڑا غیر روایتی چیلنج درپیش ہے. یہاں گلوبل وارمنگ کی بھی بات ہوئی ہے، یہاں دیگر اور غیر روایتی چیلنجز کی بات ہوئی ہے، سیکورٹی چیلنجز کی بات ہوئی ہے، لیکن ایک بڑا موضوع عمر رسیدہ آبادی یا پاپولیشن کے حوالے سے جو بہت تیزی کے ساتھ گھٹ رہی ہے، اور جس کی وجہ اس کی آبادیاتی تبدیلی ہے. جاپان دنیا کے ان ممالک میں شامل ہے جہاں عمر رسیدہ آبادی سب سے زیادہ ہے، اور اس کے ساتھ ساتھ پیدائش کی شرح میں کمی جاپان کی معیشت، سماجی نظام اور سلامتی پر گہرا اثر ڈال رہی ہے. اس کے معاشی اثرات بڑھتی ہوئی عمر رسیدہ آبادی جاپان کی معیشت پر بوجھ ڈال رہی ہے، جہاں سماجی تحفظ اور صحت کے نظام پر اخراجات بڑھ رہے ہیں. جاپان کی دفاعی فورسز کے لیے نوجوان افرادی قوت کی کمی ایک بڑا چیلنج بن چکی ہے، اور دفاعی ترقی کے لیے ہنرمند افراد کی جاپان کی طویل المدت پالیسیوں کے لیے ایک بڑا مسئلہ ہے. پاکستان کے ساتھ تعاون کے ممکنہ وسائل کے حل کے لیے جاپان کے حوالے سے اگر میں بات کروں تو جاپان کو پاکستان سمیت ساؤتھ ایشیا اور دیگر علاقوں سے بین الاقوامی تعاون کی ضرورت ہے. یہاں پاکستان ایک اہم کردار ادا کر سکتا ہے. ڈاکٹر قیصر منگالی صاحب نے اپنی گفتگو میں جو بات کہی اس کا لب لباب اگر میں سمجھاؤں تو یہ ہے کہ معاشی مسائل اگر حل ہو جائیں تو بہت سارے ایسے مسئلے حل ہو جاتے ہیں جن کا تعلق تحفظ سے ہے، اور خوشحالی بسا اوقات انسان کو اس جانب لے جاتی ہے جہاں وہ بہت سارے مسائل کے حل کے لیے ایک بہتر کردار ادا کر سکتا ہے سوسائٹی میں. پاکستان ایک نوجوان آبادی رکھنے والا ملک ہے جہاں 63% سے زیادہ لوگ 30 سال سے کم عمر کے ہیں. جاپان اور پاکستان کے درمیان تعاون دونوں ممالک کے لیے فائدہ مند ثابت ہو سکتا ہے. نوجوان ورک فورس کی فراہمی ایک اہم امر ہے. پاکستان جاپان کو اپنی صنعتی اور تکنیکی ضرورت کے لیے تربیت یافتہ افرادی قوت فراہم کر سکتا ہے. جاپان کی عمر رسیدہ آبادی کے لیے پاکستان سے تربیت یافتہ میڈیکل اور نرسنگ اسٹاف فراہم کیے جا سکتے ہیں. جاپان پاکستانی نوجوانوں کو اپنی زبان اور تکنیکی مہارتیں سکھانے کے لیے تعلیمی پروگرام شروع کر سکتا ہے. پہلے ہی سے پاکستان کے ساتھ جاپان کچھ پروگرامز کے ذریعے تعاون کر بھی رہا ہے، جیسے کہ ٹیکنیکل انٹرنشپ پروگرام ہے، اور اس کے تحت پاکستانی نوجوانوں کو جاپان میں کام کرنے کے مواقع فراہم کیے جا سکتے ہیں، جا رہے ہیں، اور مزید کیے جا سکتے ہیں. اس ماڈل کو اگر مزید وسیع کیا جائے تاکہ دونوں ممالک کے تعلقات مضبوط ہوں تو پاکستان کے ساتھ تعاون جاپان کی سلامتی کو بھی مضبوط کر سکتا ہے. جاپان کی دفاعی صلاحیتوں کو بہتر بنائے گا. معاشی استحکام جاپان کی دفاعی صلاحیتوں کو بہتر بنائے گا. دفاعی اور صنعتی شعبوں میں نوجوان افرادی قوت کی شمولیت न सिर्फ पाकिस्तान के लिए फ़ायदेमंद है बल्कि जापान के लिए भी फ़ायदेमंद साबित हो सकती है। जापान को मजबूत ये चीज़ जापान को ज़्यादा मजबूत करेगी और जापान की पॉलिसीज़ में तनव्वुर और शराकतदारी के नए मौक़े पैदा होंगे। 21वीं सदी के रवायती सलामती के चैलेंजेस को हल करने के लिए जापान को एक जामे हिकमत अमली अपनानी होगी, जिसमें न सिर्फ दिफाई सलाहियतों में इजाफा होगा बल्कि आबादियाती चैलेंजेस के लिए भी बैनुल-अक़वामी ताउन को शामिल किया जाएगा। पाकिस्तान के साथ ताल्लुक़ात को मज़ीद मजबूत करना दोनों ममालिक के लिए फ़ायदेमंद साबित होगा और आलमी सलामती के लिए भी एक मिसाल कायम करेगा। आज की ये कॉन्फ्रेंस इस बात की याद दहानी है कि हम सबको मिलकर काम करना होगा ताकि दुनिया को मज़ीद महफूज और मुस्तहकम बनाया जा सके। जापान और पाकिस्तान जैसे ममालिक के दरमियान ताउन आलमी बरादरी के लिए एक नई राह मुतय्यन कर सकते हैं। आप तमाम हज़रात का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
बहुत शुक्रिया सर। अब मैं इनवाइट करूँगा ग्रेनिच यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर मोहम्मद शाइक, डीन ऑफ द फैकल्टी ऑफ मैनेजमेंट साइंसेस एंड इंफॉर्मेशन. He will provide some valuable insight on the role of management in information science in tackling of non-traditional security challenges. Professor Dr. Shaikh, please take the stage.
Thank you very much. Excellency, distinguished guests, my fellow educationists, all participants here. I was looking at the clock. I'll not take much of your time because I don't want to present myself as an obstacle between you and lunch. So I don't want to play that role. And the other thing is that after me, I think as per the schedule, the only speaker left is our Vice Chancellor. So you can imagine it. I don't want to make him wait long for her speech. Otherwise, she might call me in her office tomorrow. So I don't want to get into that situation, right? Okay. Very informally, I would like to express what I think about this non-traditional security challenges. First of all, whatever was untraditional yesterday is traditional today. And whatever is untraditional today would be traditional tomorrow. So I don't think that any security challenge by itself, in its nature, it's neither traditional nor non-traditional. It depends on that what procedures you have, what policies you have, what's your preparedness to handle it. In fact, the security challenges in the past, if I was thinking over it, and I thought that there were three attributes connected to these security and safety challenges. If I look at them in the past and if I look at them in present and whatever can happen in future. See, now with the time what's happening, that initially these security threats were regional. Now they have become global. Initially it were confined in the territories of few countries. Now they are beyond limits, beyond territory. So whenever there is any problem, that very quickly becomes a global problem. That's one issue. The second thing is that initially in those security issues with Dr. Kaisar Bengali, my very good old friend, he mentioned it, that warfare. If you look at those threats, now what's happening? The aggressor, the perpetrator, and the victim, they are two peoples on two sides. Now the distance between them is increasing. Initially in old days, they were having fighting with swords with a distance of 3 feet. Right? Then they invented those arrows. The distance increased to probably 50 feet. Then they invented guns. Then they invented cannons. Then there came bombs. So what happened? They always tried to be physically away, but the aggression continued. So that was the second aspect. The third one was what I think, that
tangibility is changing. Initially, in initial threats, though there were tangible security issues, now intangibility is involved. So coming back to the point what I was saying, that now threats, security threats are becoming global. So what's happening when we call about sustainability? I think that everything is affecting people and planet. This is what we think about. People and planet. If we can save these two things, there is no safety issue. But how we can save them? We can save them with peace and prosperity. So I talked about two P's, which is planet and people, and what we need for them is peace and prosperity. How we can get that? With policy and preparedness. So I would say that there is a 6P framework to handle these things. You should have a policy, you should be prepared to implement that, you should try to have peace, you should try to have prosperity for the people and the planet. And to achieve these 6Ps, the most important 2Ps are, which are not part of this P framework, are to preempt something and to be prompt. Like we all were talking about COVID-19 pandemic. I know I don't want to say it only because she's sitting here on the first row, but I know when COVID attacked us, the education system was so vulnerable, not only in Pakistan, globally, it was so vulnerable that everybody was confused how to do it. And you know, education is not only the name of transferring knowledge from one person to other person, it is just to prepare people to handle such situations. So if in that situation, the education system if collapses, then everything would collapse. I remember our Iron Lady, Dr. Seema Mughal, basically was not confused at all, was so calm, was so quiet, called everybody, talked to them, and very quickly prepared everyone to work on that. And we made in-house a system of online learning. And I can very proudly say that Greenwich University probably, if not in Pakistan, so at least in Karachi, was the first one to handle that situation and to start online learning. So what I say, okay, go to get those things, you should preempt the situation and act promptly. So I'll not take much of your time. Thank you very much for listening for a few minutes. I had written something else, but when I looked at the clock, I changed my mind and I thought I will very briefly will speak on these few things, and that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shaikh, always inspire. Now it's time to hear from Dr. Seema Mughal, Vice Chancellor of Greenwich University, who will talk about the role of higher education institution in shaping policies and solutions for non-traditional security challenges. Dr. Mughal, we welcome you.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम एंड अस्सलाम वालेकुम। इतने प्यारे लोगों की इतनी सारी बातें सुनने के बाद आई डोंट थिंक सो दैट आई हैव मच टू स्पीक ऑन, बट एनीवे आई शुड से दैट I was supposed to say good morning, it's now good afternoon, and we must try to wrap up this beautiful program, a very good program. What Mr. Yushash has said, and in Urdu, बहुत खूबसूरत. Dr. Alton, thank you very much for being here. One thing which I want to highlight, we must take something with us on every day. It's a beautiful conference which is going to end today. But what Dr. Kaisar Bengali said, that what is the major problem? Non-traditional security challenges. It's just inequality. If we just look at this, try to find it out, address this, there is no challenge. We can always take care of that. Dr. Mone Samar, it was a pleasure listening to you. You couldn't elaborate all your points, but it was beautiful. वर्मा साहब, बहुत अच्छे तरीके से आपने एजिंग सोसाइटी के बारे में बात की. I have got a bit of understanding because we have been working with Mauritius and the same problem is with them as well. शाइख साहब, आप बिल्कुल कल नहीं बुलाए जाएंगे. बहुत अच्छा बोला आपने. 2 P's, peace and prosperity. That's the thing, I think so. We all have to remember, and if that comes to us, there is no challenge. All the brilliant minds, brilliant students, we have discussed the critical security issues that goes beyond traditional military threats and requires comprehensive multidisciplinary solutions. This is the world is changing. Challenges like climate change, cyber threats, terrorism, pandemic, economic instability have become major concerns. The issues demand collaborative efforts, policy-driven solutions, and that can only come after academic discussions takes place. And we have to look it in a very effective way, that how to address them. I'm sure this conference of today provides going to provide a very valuable platform to exchange ideas, propose solutions, and shape policies for a secure future for all of us. Inshallah. I'm grateful to all the distinguished guests of honor whose contribution will definitely enrich our discussions. I have been informed that there has been 57 research papers being presented today across 11 parallel sessions. We are looking forward to engage conversations on the many aspects of non-traditional security challenges. The knowledge shared today will help inspire new ideas, influence policymakers, and encourage collaborations in academia and beyond. My sincere thanks goes to the Vice Chancellor of Federal Urdu University and the team of the Federal Urdu University, and I'm grateful for the beautiful offer and honor given by the Vice Chancellor to us. And I'm looking forward to have many collaborative programs with this public-private partnership. He had some work, so he has left, but I'm looking forward to have more close associations. One thing which I want to address over here, that this conference could have never taken place without the very good efforts of Dr. Khurram Alvi. So I should say that we should give a big band of applause to him. Dr. Saab, a very good effort. I wish all of you a productive and thought-provoking conference today, and I am hopeful that the abstract book and all the related publications which are going to come afterwards will be definitely beneficial to not us students but public at large. Thank you very much.